Hello, Conrad and Lucy and Caleb. I am so excited to start this story of the Fantastic Four. This is the beginning of one of the greatest epics of all time, and it'll take several stories to get through all of the exciting adventure that is ahead of us. So, y'all hang in with me, and I think you will really enjoy it too. The epic adventure begins with the return of the Frightful Four. Yes, indeed, and here they are in their anti-gravity space machine. And look at the title. It says the Fantastic Four will be defeated by the Frightful Four. Can it be? Well, let's read the story and find out. As usual, we begin in the Baxter building, but look, what on earth is going on here? It looks like that Reed and Ben and Johnny are suspended in space, but in fact, they're looking at the blow up of a photograph. But before we go any further, I'll read you this. In this comic, we introduce one of the most unpredictable villains of all time. Wait till you see the Trapster. Well, we've seen the Trapster before by a different name. Well, the editor explains what we're looking at. He says, no, Jolly Jack Kirby hasn't finally popped his cork. There really is an explanation for this scene. Reed, Ben, and Johnny are standing on a huge, oversized blow-up of a photo which their automatic cameras took while they were returning to Earth from the Skrull Galaxy. Okay, y'all remember that story from last time. But if you're wondering what it's a photo of, well, welcome to the club. All right. Reed says, I suspect it's a section of one of the Skrull's power plants, but I can't be certain. Johnny says, this really takes the cake. Your automatic camera gives us a photo, and we don't know what it is. Ben says, next time you spend our dough getting a picture enlarged, make sure it's a picture of some blonde. All right, so he wants to look at a pretty girl. All right, the gang in the bullpen feel that this startling epic is one of the supreme achievements of the Marvel Age of Comics. Well, yes, I agree with that. Okay, Reed says, perhaps if we study some of the other enlargements from the Skrull Galaxy, we can find some sort of pattern to them. Ben says, you study them, Stretcho. I'm going to see what's on TV. And look at this picture. It's some kind of giant statue. Johnny says, I'll bet we could make a few bucks selling this one to monsters to laugh with. What do you think? Are you laughing? Suddenly, Reed hears soft breathing behind him. And then, look, Sue sneaks up. She's invisible. And she messes up Reed's hair. She's telling him that he should be spending time going over their wedding plans. But Reed says, I may not be able to see you, but I'll still teach you not to go around mussing my hair. And so he stretches out his arm to try to grab her. And then she runs away, but Johnny flames on to hold her back. And she says, oh, to think my own kid brother would turn against me that way. And then Ben, of course, gets in her way too. And so Sue is like, you Benedict Arnold, you. And Ben says, flattery will get you nowhere. And so he grabs her, starts to spank her. But Sue says, Benjamin J. Grimm, if you don't get out of my way this instant, I'll never speak to you again. And so Ben just flips her over to Reed, who grabs her in his stretchy arms and just rolls her up and gathers her up to himself. She says, men, you just can't resist acting like silly little boys, can you? He says, perhaps not, darling, but who was it whose hair when? All right, so she started it. Well, Johnny says, cheese, if you two are going to start acting all cute and mushy, I'm cutting out. So he flames on and he's going to fly out the window. Ben says, hey, wait for me. But Johnny rushes off anyway, says, sorry, Benji, I'm going to take Dory out for a soda, and three's a crowd. In fact, when you're the third one, three's a whole stampede. Well, finally, the story is going to get started because when Johnny flies away, he thinks, am I seeing something? Or is that a man floating around up there? Who could it be? Who has the power of anti-gravity? You remember. And he's up there, he's thinking, the torch, I must vanish fast. And yes, it's the wingless wizard who shoots up into the atmosphere. When next the torch meets the wingless wizard, it must be at a time and place of my own choosing. Ha! My anti-grav power enables me to soar into the sky so rapidly that the fiery juvenile will think he was merely seeing things. Next, Wizard swoops down into his secret hideaway. He says, now it is time for me to rendezvous with the other members of my newly formed Frightful foursome. All of a sudden, from the window of the lonely log cabin, a hand juts out. It is a seemingly normal, average, ordinary hand. The voice says, I thought I heard something. But sometimes looks can be very deceiving, especially when the hand belongs to the Sandman. If anyone's prowling around out there, this'll stop him. And so he shoots out his amazing sand particles. He grabs the wizard. Wizard says, Sandman, you careless fool, stop it. It is I. It is your leader, the wingless wizard. Huh. And so Sandman brings him in. He says, some leader, look how easy I caught you without even half trying. Anyway, you always told us we can't afford to take any chances, right? Wizard says, put me down, put me down. And then there's Pete over there. He says, hey, let's have a little less noise here when I'm trying on my new costume, huh? The wizard says, you arrogant clod, I'll show you which of us is the most powerful. My anti-grav power can control anything. Medusa is there. She says, be careful, wizard, he meant no harm. But the Sandman says, you're not scaring me, chum, if it's a fight you want. And so look, he lifts himself up with his powerful sandy hand. And Pete says, this is as good a chance as any to use my new traps. I'm through being called Paste Pot Pete. It sounded too much like a comic title. Well, of course, he's in a comic book, right? But he came up with a new name. He says, from now on, I'll be known as the Trapster. That's a name with dignity, with drama, maybe. And so he tosses a new weapon, and it attaches to the helmet of the wizard. By using my great paste powers on other devices to make them stick, I can arrange a trap for anything, like this. And that weapon sticks to the wizard's helmet, and as the wizard says, it's a sonic sound blast, deafening me. I can't bear it. I'm blacking out. So, Trapster says, wow, I'm even better than I thought. Sorry, Wiz, it was just an experiment. So the Trapster knocks out his leader, and Medusa snuggles up to him and says, the Trapster, your new name has a thrilling ring to it, and you look most impressive in your new costume, my handsome one. Pete says, thanks, Medusa. You're pretty easy on the eyes yourself. Sandman says, some leader you are, wizard. Maybe it's time we held a new election around here, huh? Wizard says, yes, it is time. But time for what? He says, "It is time I demonstrate once for all that only I am strong enough to head the Frightful Four." And look at his anti-gravity power as he shoots everyone into the air. In the next amazing instant, the arch-villain known as the Wingless Wizard gives an exhibition of his awesome mastery over the force of gravity, such as no human eyes have ever beheld before or likely to witness again. Goodness, everything is being destroyed as he waves around his anti-gravity power, and his three partners are helpless as they float into the air. You can see Sandman's expression. He didn't know what's going on. Well, we leave them, and the next day we see Sue in a shop. The most famous blonde in New York excitedly visits an exclusive East Side fashion house. She says, "When I received your call, I was so thrilled. I rushed right over without thinking to change clothes first." Yeah, there she is, shopping in her Invisible Girl uniform. The lady says, "Our new designer is waiting for you, Miss Storm. She'll be right in." Well, here enters an exotic woman with a fashionable attire and flowing red hair and sunglasses. Do we know who this is? She says, "Good day, Miss Storm. I trust you like the original creations I have designed, especially for your trousseau." Sue says, "They're simply gorgeous. Wherever did you get such inspirations from?" "The wizard helped me to create them." The wizard? And so now Medusa reveals herself with her flowing tresses aimed at Sue Storm. And all of a sudden, she has captured her. She says, "Why, yes, Miss Storm, a pity you didn't recognize me as Madame Medusa." Sue realizes it's a trap, and I walked blindly into it. "Good work, beautiful." Here comes the trapster. And now the trapster will snare her before she can save herself with her invisible shield. And so he sends his paste all around her, capturing her. Seconds later, in broad daylight, in full view of thousands, the wingless wizard employs his anti-grav power to whisk his helpless captive and his two evil partners into the sky. Sue says, "You won't get away with this. The Fantastic Four will come after you." Wizard says, "That, my dear, is precisely what I desire." Oh no. A few hours later, here's a newspaper with the headline, "Susan Storm abducted by Frightful Four. Nightmarish coup carried out in full view of a horrified populace." And the salesman says, "Extra, extra, read all about it. The Frightful Four challenges the Fantastic Four. Extra, extra." But we don't have to buy a newspaper to read about it. We've got the story right here. Then, minutes after the papers are sold out, as one of the purchasers walks down the street, look, he suddenly goes up into the air. Could it be the wizard and his anti-grav power? He hears a voice, "Hey, let me borrow that rag for a while, huh?" Well, it's not the wizard, it's the Thing, and he's flying overhead in the Fantasticar. Thing says, "Thanks, pal. I just want to see what they're shouting about the Fantastic Four. I'll give you back your dime." The fella says, "No, don't bother. You can have it. Honest, just let me down. Please, let me down. Ah." "Okay, sweetie, but you'll never get rich tossing your dough around like that." And so the Thing tosses him, and fortunately, or by on purpose, the Thing tosses him onto a truck carrying Quimby's mattresses. Whoop! So he lands comfortably. And then, after the mighty muscled thing has scanned the headlines, he rushes home. Johnny says, Ben, we've been waiting for you. Ben says, I would have come sooner. I was with Alicia. I didn't find out till now. Reed says, quiet. I'm on a trans-hemispheric video network trying to find some trace of them. But then, after long, anguished moments, he tosses away his equipment. He says, it's no use. Not a tracking station on Earth has seen any sign of them. They could have taken her anywhere. Anywhere. Easy, Reed. Easy, says Johnny. Ben, you better grab him. So Ben grabs him and says, come on, pal, we'll find her. You know the good guys always win in the end. But Reed says, the four of them are so thoroughly evil, there's no telling what their plans are. If any harm comes to that girl, oh no, I can't bear to think of it. This is the reason I shied away from romance all these years. Once an enemy knows that one of us is in love, he can strike at us through our loved one. Ben says, I know how you feel, Reed. If anyone ever tried to harm Alicia. Meanwhile, the anti-grav ship of the Frightful Four noiselessly speeds to its destination, moving too low and too swiftly to be tracked by any known form of Earth radar, until it finally comes to rest on a remote Pacific island where underground nuclear tests have recently been abandoned by a powerful Asiatic power. Sandman says, what kind of wild goose chase is this? What did you bring us here for? Medusa looks around and says, such a barren, foreboding sight. Trapster says, she's still unconscious, Wiz. Where do you want her? The wizard says, have patience, all of you, till I find the secret passageway I have previously prepared. Ah, here it is. Now watch. Medusa says, all the work, the planning that you must have put into this project. But for what purpose? Wizard says, can none of you guess? To destroy the Fantastic Four, of course. I have salvaged an atomic Q-bomb, which under my scientific genius is now one of the most potent explosive devices in the world. And when our unsuspecting foursome comes blundering in here to rescue their captive partner, my Q-bomb shall give them their final greeting. And so, thanks to the wizard's anti-grav power, they all fly through the tunnel. And there they find the powerful Q-bomb. The wizard says, place the girl on the floor near the detonation mechanism. It will take only a moment to activate the device and set the timer. Oh no, it looks like doom for Sue. Sandman says, hey, take it easy with that thing. Are you sure you know what you're doing? Wizard says, of course, you witless fool, and you are the one who dared mock me before. See how my superior intelligence makes me the undeniable master of you all. Click, and so he sets the timer. Trapster says, okay, we agree, you're a real big-brained hotshot, but what about the Fantastic Four? Wizard says, all that remains for them is complete defeat. Now we shall lure them here, and our fatal trap shall be sprung. Back at the Baxter building, Reed, Ben, and Johnny still keep the desperate vigil. Ben says, you better get some shut-eye, Reed. I'll watch those dials and gizmos for you for a while. Reed says, no, Ben, I dare not shut my eyes while Sue is still in danger. I can't. And look, here's the radar screen as it sweeps for any activity. Reed says, but you and Johnny better take a break. Thing says, hey, hold it, chum. Look at your radar screen. Something is coming in there. You're right, Ben. It's an unidentified object, and it's coming in fast. The unidentified flying object is coming in fast. Its speed is almost unimaginable. It's coming closer, closer. Johnny, Ben, look, it's coming right over our building. What is it? What is this unidentified flying object? Well, they reach out to find out. Johnny says, flame on. And he says, Reed, wait, let me go first. It'll be safer. But look, Reed stretches out from the Baxter building, reaching out to see if he can capture that device. Johnny realizes it's no use. Nobody can stop him now. Reed says, hang on, Ben. It has to be their ship. It has to. So he's reaching and grabbing, hoping that he can rescue Sue. Stretching out to his extreme limit, Mr. Fantastic covers the speeding ship in an unbreakable grip with his own pliable body. And then Ben realizes, hey, it's changing course. Reed says, they're trying to shake us off. Don't worry about old Benjamin, Blue Eyes. I'll dig in with my dainty little paws. And so he grabs the skin of the flying ship. Then he says, hey, watch that flame, Junior. You're supposed to be on our side. But Johnny isn't the only one who can shoot off flame. He says, it wasn't me, Ben. They shot some fire blasts around the hull of that ship to shake off you both. And so look, now Mr. Fantastic and the thing are falling. Only the torch is able to fly. Ben says, now he tells me. Reed says, Johnny, don't lose sight of the ship. I'll save Ben. And so Mr. Fantastic stretches his body out like a trampoline, and it catches the thing. Johnny says, okay, Reed, he's all yours. Ben says, oh, I was hoping you'd fight over me. And so then Reed grabs hold of a skyscraper, and with one end, and the other end, he's got Ben all wrapped up, and he says, try to relax, Ben. Centrifugal force should slow our descent. Ben says, relax? What kind of nut are you? How can he relax when he's up in the air, grabbing a hold of Mr. Fantastic and swinging around in the air? So Johnny continues to fly after the ship. The ship is slowing up, almost as if they want me to catch him. Well, I can't stop now. Can't do much on the outside. I'll try to burn my way in. Zzz. So he shoots his flame at the ship, but he says it's no use. It's completely fireproof. Then, as he ponders his next move, the courageous teenager is menaced again. All of a sudden, he's being covered with sand. It puts out his flame. They were waiting for me. And so the wizard says, well done, Sandman. See, we each have our use. And so the Sandman drags Johnny into the ship. Johnny realizes my flame is out. Sand is dragging me down into the hatch. I can't save myself. Once he's inside, Sandman says, you wanted to get in, brat, so we helped you. Pete says, give him to me, Sandman. The trapster will devise a trap to hold him fast. Wizard says, we are outmaneuvering the Fantastic Four at every turn, just as I planned. Well, yes, they've captured Invisible Girl. Now they've captured the torch. And so Pete says, there, my latest trap, asbestos tape, operated by remote control. So look, tape is wrapping around Johnny, and since it's made out of asbestos, it's flame-proof. Sandman says, be sure it's tight. That kid is no pushover. Meantime, not too far behind, the famous FF Pogo plane takes off in pursuit with a fighting mad Reed Richards giving it full throttle. He says, there's no place on Earth they can run to where I won't find them and make them pay for capturing Sue. Ben says, and just let me get my paws on one of them. That's all I ask. Reed says, you realize, old friend, that they are sure to be leading us into some sort of prearranged trap. Ben says, sure, pal. I wasn't born yesterday, but whatever they toss at us, it ain't gonna be enough. If only that were so. Finally, at the site of the deadly island, the anti-grav ship lands with the Frightful Four and their two captives. We made it. Now land quickly. They're right behind us. Reed says, they're landing. This is it, Ben. We're going after them. But no sooner does the pogo plane set down on the surface than look, this buzzsaw comes out. It's been released by the Trapster. Good shot, Trapster. Now there's no escape for them. They're doomed. Oh no. Trapster says, I won't even need a second shot. My first blade sliced through their tail section like a knife through butter. Wizard says, it's time for step 2. Order Sandman to release the torch. Ben says, look, they're pushing someone out of their ship. Hey, it looks like Junior. Reed says, but where's Sue? She must still be their prisoner. So they shove the torch out, all taped up. The Frightful Four says, that's it. Now they're marooned here and we can take off. Reed says, we can't let them escape till we have Sue. Let's go, Ben. I hear you talking. Brace yourself, pal. And look, Mr. Fantastic forms his amazing body into a spring. Ben jumps down and up, down and up. Crump. And then he springs, says, Geronimo! Reed says, don't miss, Ben. Don't miss. Bloop! It's clobbering time. And so he stops the ship from taking off. Trapster says, now what do we do? We're trapped here on this infernal island too. Medusa says, it's just a temporary setback. Our ship is undamaged. We'll escape them yet. Ben reaches in and grabs the wizard. He says, come back and fight, you crumb bums. I'll pulverize you. Then as the Frightful Four flee from the awesome wrath of the rampaging thing, Reed seizes the opportunity to free his teenage partner. He reaches his hand in between the tape, says, easy, Johnny. Soon I'll have you untied. We'll find Sue. And he rips open the tape, says, there, now let's get going, lad. Johnny says, flame on. This time nothing will stop me. And Ben is grabbing hold of the wizard. Wizard says, let go of me, you inhuman gargoyle. I'll fly you so high that they'll pick you up with a blotter when you land. Ben says, just hold still long enough for me to take one whump out of you, knucklehead, and there won't be enough left of you for a blotter. And the Trapster's got more traps. These suction blasts will keep you at bay, Torch, but not for long, mister. Let's see what else is going on. Here's Madame Medusa. She's using her hair against Mr. Fantastic. She says, even your elastic body is no match for the powers of my irresistible hair. It can duplicate the contortions of your own form and seize you in an iron grip. Mr. Fantastic is stretching out his arm toward the wizard. Madame Medusa is only a temporary diversion. I must grab the wizard to learn where Sue is hidden. Sandman says, I'll circle around and attack the torch from behind. There's the entire tableau with the Frightful Four, but remember there are only 3 of the Fantastic Four to fight against them. Suddenly, the sly Trapster fires a strange balloon-like capsule at the torch. He says, this capsule is not as harmless as it seems, Torch. Once it strikes you, I'll be able to finish you off with ease. But increasing the power of his flame to give him a jet assist, Johnny dodges the capsule, but the Sandman sneaking up behind is not so fortunate. Ah! The capsule hits Sandman right in his face. Whoop! And so it knocks out the Sandman, who falls backward. Startled by this sudden development, Madame Medusa releases Reed, using her uncanny hair to catch the Sandman as his now stiff and immobile body falls to the ground. Medusa says, "I have to cushion his fall." Johnny says, "Happy landings, playmate." Medusa realizes it will be at least 10 minutes before Trapster's paralysis paste finally wears off. At that very instant, in the subterranean chamber below, the captive Sue Storm finally regains her consciousness. She realizes where she is. I've got to escape somehow before it's too late. She tries to use her invisible force field to squeeze in between the paste. This paste is holding my hands and my ankles. I could never pry myself loose unless I use the added force of my invisible force field. By forcing it between my wrists and making it expand more and more. Look! I did it! I'm free! But I still have to find my way out of here. So she's escaped the paste trap. She says, "Oh, I'm still groggy, still faint. It must be the sleep gas. It hasn't fully worn off yet. But I hear noises above, like sounds of fighting. Can it be? It is. I hear Reed's voice, and Ben, and Johnny." Directly above the weakly staggering girl, we find the wizard has finally broken free of the thing's grip. Ha! By suddenly reversing my anti-grav power, I caught you off guard. A pity we weren't higher up when you lost your grip. Thing says, "Don't you ever shut up?" Then, as he is low to the ground, he says, "Hey, I hear something down there. It's a gal's voice calling. It sounds like Susie. This is your ever-loving big buddy, kid. I'll be right there." Ben says, "Hey, Reed, forget those creeps for a minute. I found her. Sue's down under here." Reed says, "You found Sue?" And he turns away. And Pete says, "Now's my chance." And so, whap, the trapster slugs him. Ben says, "It's some kind of trap door under here. I'm falling through. Heads up, Susie. Here I come." Reed says, "Wait for me, Ben." And Trapster strikes Reed, and he says, "This'll slow you up for a while." But so concerned about Sue is Reed that he hardly feels the blow. And a second later, Reed hollers out, "Ben, is she there? Wait, I'm coming after you." The torch says, "You crumb," and he's throwing fireballs at Trapster. "Let's see if one of those sneaky trips, you can try those on me now." Medusa says, "Trapster, quick, to the ship. They're waiting." However, Reed and Johnny make no effort to stop the fugitives. They're oblivious to everything except the semi-conscious blonde beauty who waits below. Reed says, "Ben, is she? Torch asks, "What's happened to her, Ben?" Ben says, "She's okay, just groggy from some kind of sleeping gas they gave her, but she's okay. We got our little Susie back again." Reed holds her and says, "Sue, my dearest, it's my fault. I should never have let you out of my sight. I should have been with you always." Does he mean he should have been in that store with shopping for dresses? Well, maybe. But Thing and Torch are thinking about the Frightful Four, and they start looking around. Ben says, "Come on, small fry, let's poke around down here." Torch says, "Sure, anything to get away from that living soap opera." Sue says, "Oh no, my darling, you mustn't blame yourself. It was my own carelessness. But what does that matter now? We're together again." But as Ben and Johnny enter the next chamber, Ben says, Torch, get back. Warn Reed. That there gizmo is a Q-bomb, and it's buzzing like it's aching to explode. Torch says, we got to race to the surface again. The anti-grav ship is our only hope of escape. So they rush out from the trap door. The Torch flies up, realizes the anti-grav ship is gone. The Frightful Four have escaped. Ben realizes our pogo plane is wrecked. That means we're stuck here with a Q-bomb for company. Reed says, this must be the trap they planned for us, the ultimate trap, but we've got to escape it. We can't have found you only to lose you again, only to lose everything at the last fateful minute. But Sue realizes, there's no hope, my darling. There's no way to escape the bomb's blast. Reed says, there's always hope. It wasn't meant to end like this. I know it. But now the ground's shaking. As Ben says, this is it, kiddies. It's been nice knowing ya. Reed says, the bomb is only seconds away from detonation. There's only one thing to try. Sue, Ben, Johnny, all of you, listen to me. What are they going to try? What are they going to do? The bomb is about to explode. They have no place to go. Miles away, the anti-grav ship of the Frightful Four speeds safely out of range of the Q-bomb's blast. And they say, we did it. We finished off the FF. There's no way they can escape now. We take back what we said before, Wizard. You're a genius. Though many have tried in the past, only the evil FF could defeat the Fantastic Four. With this victory behind us, the world will know we're the most powerful band of marauders of all time. Medusa sits down at the controls. She says, the thing injured your arm, so I'll pilot the ship while you rest it, Wizard. Wizard says, thank you, my dear Madam Medusa. Now that you are properly respectful to me, we shall get along fine. Yes, just fine. But Medusa thinks the aura of total evil about him even terrifies me. Terrifies me for sure. Say, Wiz, when can we expect the big blow-up? He says, in exactly 2 seconds, we will see the blast quite clearly, even from this great distance. Medusa says it's hard to believe we really defeated them, and yet once the blast occurs, they're finished. And then it happens. The big explosion of the Q-bomb and the mushroom cloud that reveals its atomic nature. Seconds later, amongst the backwash and the hurtling debris, one small, round form falls to earth, the invisible form of a force field with 4 figures huddled within. That was Reed's plan. That's the Invisible Girl's power. And there they are, floating on the sea, inside the invisible force field, buffeted by the shock waves, dazed by the noise and force of impact. The unconscious quartet are nevertheless safe, protected by the fantastic power of one girl, a girl whose will to survive is so strong that her force field remains even though she is unconscious. But look at what's happening. Look, the thing is returning to his human form of Ben Grimm. As our heroic quartet lies silent and still beneath the life-saving blanket of invisible force, a startling change begins to take place among them, a change which will furnish the springboard for our next adventure. All right. Our next adventure in Fantastic Four number 39. What is that adventure? What's going to happen to the Fantastic Four? Well, there they are. And look, Doctor Doom is threatening them. Not as a giant, but this picture just shows that he's a major force and he is threatening the Fantastic Four. But look who's with them. It's Daredevil, and the title of this comic book, "A Blind Man Shall Lead Them." What a great story awaits us in the second part of this saga. I enjoyed this story so much I couldn't find a stopping place, and so we just read through the entire comic in one sitting. All right, we'll be back for another chapter in this great saga of the Fantastic Four. I'm looking forward to it. Y'all hang in with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.